my first question is kind of, what was your life like before you ended up seeking out Apex, and um, what initially, was it that brought you here and made you choose Apex?
Oh, well, I
It's a
mean,
lot, I know.
I mean, well, I guess, oh God, things are just, my condition changed so much. My accident was in 2012, and
Okay.
I didn't find out about Apex until December of 2016, and then didn't,
Oh, wow.
and then
Okay.
was there in January of 17. So
Okay.
2 years ago, I went.
Okay.
So I had al- almost 5 years of complete and utter misery before
Okay.
before I was there. So I get where I was at right before I showed up was I was able to be out of bed, mm, I guess maybe 4 hours a day.
Okay.
I was living, my husband and I had to move back in with my parents. I had
Okay.
to, I tried to, I had a teaching job. I was a choral director, school choir director,
Okay.
and a community chorus director, and all. I had so much going on, and I just tried to keep everything in my life together right after the
Mhm.
accident, and then just one by one, it just was like they went away. I just kept getting worse, and they had to go away. I finally had to um, retire with disability from my teaching job,
Wow.
and that's when we had to sell our house 3 weeks later and move back in with my parents. Um, because I was, gosh, uh, I was just was yeah, I just wasn't able to do it.
Yeah.
It's so much. It's like, what symptoms do I tell you? There are hundreds.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, so you were in a motor vehicle accident.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I was hit by a drunk driver.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
that's no, it's all yeah. I mean, I wasn't personal. I'm a
Yeah.
statistic. uh, but so I okay. So I mean, by the end, I was before I saw Dr. Trayford,
Mhm.
I yeah, I was out of bed maybe 4 hours a day, and that was
Okay.
getting shorter and shorter by the day. Um,
Okay.
uh, like a few minutes earlier, I would just like I'd be. Uh, it would usually happen like at dinner. I would be eating, and then all of a sudden, everything would just go away. I wasn't able to speak, and I
Oh,
wasn't able
wow.
to move my body on my own.
Okay.
I would have to basically be drug upstairs by my dad and my husband um, every single day. So
Wow.
it was, and it kept happening earlier and earlier. So I mean, I was essentially, it felt like I was just descending into vegetable land because I wasn't
Mhm.
able to communicate or move, but I could
Okay.
still think. Like I knew
Oh,
what was happening. I was completely aware, but
wow.
unable to uh, every single day. So it, um, we had tried everything we could think of for all the whole time. I mean, my parents were so awesome about, since I had no time because I was being ridiculous trying to work with this condition. um, I'm a little stubborn.
A
Um,
little bit.
well,
So,
but yeah,
sometimes that's good. That gets you through sometimes.
I
So,
guess. But yeah, my parents were awesome. Just constantly finding new, like whatever they could find, we tried,
okay.
um, and it just wasn't nothing. Uh, we'd try something, I go, the stupid optimist in me was like, oh yeah, I feel better, and then, no, that was just different. In hindsight, I felt different. I didn't feel better,
Mhm.
and it was
Okay.
just spiraling. It spiraled out of control, and then finally, um, uh, my mom was talking to my childhood piano teacher, who lives in Florida and New York, and she she happened to be friends with a patient of Dr. Trayford's, and
Okay.
her, like, told, through their conversations, she brought me up, and her friend told her about Apex.
Okay.
So then my piano teacher then told my mom, like, hey, this is something that has really, really worked for someone else with a traumatic brain injury that I know, who also happens to be a chiropractic neurologist. And so she hooked me up with her. I called this lady on the phone, and she told me all about her experience, and I was like, okay, this sounds legit. It sounded too good to be true. Everyone was like, okay, I've heard this before, like, whatever. I've been through 5 years of stupid stuff that hasn't worked. So I called her, and she made it, I mean, talking to a person that went through it
Mm-hmm.
was sold it for me.
Okay.
Because it was exactly everything I'd ever hoped that I would find was an intensive program where you go and you just live that
Mm-hmm.
for weeks, and it's just nothing but treatment for weeks. And that's what I felt like I needed, and I couldn't believe that it finally existed.
That's
And
awesome. This is so awesome to hear your story. Thank you so much for sharing this.
yeah, oh sure, yeah.
Um, that's incredible. And just hearing about, where you were before you got here is, I can't even imagine to see, to see you,
Yeah,
in this position. I can't imagine like you
yeah.
any other way. You're very bubbly and vibrant and everything. So I can't imagine you being in the state, that you described.
I look back and I can't believe it. How bad, unbelievable.
So when you came in for treatment, how long did you come in the beginning? Because I know different people do, some do 5, some do 10, 15. Did you come in for a few weeks in the beginning?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did 2 weeks,
2
10 days.
weeks?
Yeah, but I signed up for 3 with, and so Dr. Trayford suggested that, because they were having a special, like, sign up for 3 weeks, and then
Mhm.
we'll figure out what works best. So we figured that
Okay.
do 2 weeks, and then in a month come back for another week.
Okay.
So that's essentially what I did. It ended up being a little bit more than a month before I came back.
Okay.
So that
Did
was
you
January, I did 2 weeks, and then in March I did a week.
Okay. Did you have any expectations coming into the program as far as what your recovery might be, or were you just kind of open and having no idea because nothing had worked before? And you said, this seemed too good to be true. So did
Yeah,
you have any expectations?
I I had a lot. I had hopes, um,
Hmm.
but no, I had no. I had no idea. Like, from talking to uh, the other patient. I don't know if I'm supposed to not name anybody else, so I'm not
It's
going to
okay.
do
Yeah, it's okay.
that whole HIPAA thing. But um, I, yeah, it was just uh, reluctantly very hopeful, but
Okay.
no expectation, because
Okay.
what she described to me was it was an immediate, drastic change.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that happened to be what I experienced.
Okay. Do you remember how soon into the program you started feeling different or seeing the changes?
Feeling different immediately. I mean, like,
Really?
not necessarily for the better. It was very hard to
Yeah.
be it was very exciting, and but it was brutally hard, because I started in such a horrible state
Mhm.
that anything was hard. Getting in the car to be driven to the doctor by my mom at any was hard,
Okay.
excruciatingly hard. So, but it was really exciting and super fascinating to me. All of this stuff was super fascinating. Of course, I mean, Dr. Trafford and Denise, they are so knowledgeable. And I was just like, it was like I called it a brain playground. Because I was like, oh my God, like, can we go play on that one now?
I understand. And that's how I feel working here.
I'm sure this sounds like a super, like, let's pay you. Yeah, great. Uh, but but that's how I was excited about it. But I would go back to the hotel every day, and something would feel different in my brain and in my body. Like, I don't even know what to call that. There's no word for that. I've never heard anybody describe this thing before. My vision would change by the day.
Wow.
Like my one day, one eye wasn't working with the prescription contact I had in that day. Well, shoot, how I can't walk around with one eye blurry and one. So for some reason so I would have to wear my glasses, which somehow made it better. But then the next day, the other eye was weird, and then I had to keep going back and forth to my eye doctor once I got home, because it was still like keeping up with my treatment at home. That Dr. Trafford prescribed. I mean, it was just, it's like we were tinkering around under the hood. Things are going to get a little screwy. I would last time I was there, just a couple months ago, I just developed this weird shoulder twitch that I didn't even know I had a muscle there. Just like, it was like, what is happening? So yeah, it just really weird stuff like that. It's exhausting.
I'm sure.
Just total. I would, at the beginning, I would come to the office and do treatment for 4 to 5 hours, and then have to be basically drugged to the car by my mom, and then taken back to the hotel, drug into my room, and then I just slept until I had to go back the next day.
Okay.
Which, because that's basic. I was already past my quota for waking hours of the day. So,
and then adding in all of that mental exhaustion as well as physical. I mean, when you're mentally exhausted, then it starts, playing with your body and everything. So
yeah. It was terrifying. It was scary, but in an optimistic way. Like,
okay.
It was very scary, but I trusted it. I think anything that could make that could affect change that quickly was, I knew that it had to be good.
Without the side effects other than the exhaustion. Right. Yeah.
Because it kept changing. So I trusted that things were gonna even out in the right, everything. It felt like a recalibration. Okay. And that it eventually finds it, but it's it goes up and down, and it's scary because you don't know what's happening. But I guess I just happened to trust it.
Thankfully.
So, yeah. Yeah. So
good. That's awesome. As far as changes that you had to make after, what you learned here in the program, how did you kind of bring that home and apply that to your new life?
Yeah. Well, so I had a whole page of things that
exercises and homework.
Yeah, exercises and lists of supplements to take, and basically what to eat, what not to eat, screen time, stuff like that. Just and basically a lifestyle change. And it was, and of course, so I had trouble. I really had to come up with tools to organize all of that. So I made charts and things like I was, in kindergarten, like my chores chart. Like, I get a sticker on every day I did this thing and this thing. And it was my full-time job to get better. Okay. Once I quit my job, which was over a year before I finally made it to Apex, learned about it, and then went. Starting then, I'm like, my full-time job, my only job is to get better. I owe it to myself, to my family, to they're putting me up. Like, this is a horrible life for everybody. I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was dedicated even before, but finally having something concrete to do
Mm-hmm.
every day, so that where I could keep up. I tried to design my life where I was basically doing the same things that I was doing at Apex every day
Okay. But just in your home.
in my home. So like with
Okay.
the Muse device, that was my neurofeedback that I did 3 times a day. And
Okay.
eventually I got my I Am Home unit, and was doing that every day. Or, as much as I could. It's hard to do, but I mean, I really did. The goal was every day. And then, all the like core exercises and eye movement exercises and diet and supplements. Like, it's like I really, really wanted to do all of it.
Okay. Well, thankfully, yeah, I mean, because you saw the changes. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not easy. I've
No.
done just a few of the tests here, and it's really helped me to understand what our patients go through during the week. And that's just 20 minutes, 30 minutes of my time. So it definitely puts it in perspective when I see people coming in here at 9 o'clock in the morning and then they're leaving exhausted, at 2 in the afternoon. It really helps me to understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
Um, was there a time during your treatment here that you felt really stuck or you felt like this isn't happening?
No.
Okay.
No. I've been frustrated a lot of times because, I mean, nothing goes away like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, Denise and Dr. Trayford have seen plenty of meltdowns out of me. And they're all humiliating. Everyone that's ever happened to me feels, oh, it sucks just being seen like that.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's just, and that happens when I get fatigued. So,
Mhm.
and they're have always were like, you need to tell us when you're too tired. And that's a really hard thing. It's like, well, how? Because I was an athlete in high school where you got to push. You're not, pain, no gain,
Yeah.
all that stupid stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's a hard balance. It's like,
Yeah.
what is too much? And for me, it was always, I didn't know too much until it was too late.
Mhm. Until you were crying probably and you got to that kind of breaking point.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish it was just tears, but oh, ugly, ugly.
It's, you know what, authenticity is one of my favorite things. So I think that there is something to be said for somebody who is willing to put themselves in that situation because it's not easy, and most people, aren't willing to do that. But you have done the hard work, and look at how far you've come because of that. Because you're willing to kind of throw yourself in there. So I think it's a wonderful thing.
Oh, thank you. Well, I finally had the right advice to follow. Yeah.
Good. And that, I think that makes all the difference, through teachers or just different teachers throughout our life,
Yeah.
having those people that you can connect with and that, push you in a healthy way and support you. And I definitely feel like from the, patients that I've been able to talk to, they have cultivated a relationship with both Denise and Dr. Trayford. So I think that that's huge and that, says a lot for what
Yeah.
they're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What do you feel like, other than everything that I'm hearing, was your big success? Was there something that you really, in particular, overcame, or just? I mean, to me, it sounds like everything. Everything was a big success for you.
It's every my I'm
Yeah.
completely different. My life is completely different. I mean, I'm still not working, but
Mhm.
I've, but I wouldn't, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to know what I was like
While it was happening.
while it was happening, because
Yeah.
at time, like during my like couple waking hours, I felt like I could turn it on when I needed to.
Mhm.
And I was a teacher for several years after the accident,
Wow.
and which is just being on all the time. And
Yeah.
I thought I was fooling people, which I don't really know. I mean, people have told me now, like, oh my God, people who didn't know me before the accident are like, is this what you were like before? Because this is different. Is this you? Or like, I don't know. I think so.
That's awesome. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
as far as roadblocks still to come, are there areas um, that and it sounds like you're kind of mastering these, little by little, day by day, and just, because you're not working, you're working.
I'm
You
not
are working, so
I'm not
much
gonna
harder than
get that off.
yeah, yeah, and sometimes
Yeah, I just don't get paid for it.
yeah. But yeah, little by little, it sounds like you're getting your life back
Yeah,
and overcoming this. I mean, there's so many people that couldn't or don't get the chance. So I'm
yeah.
very proud of you for
Thank you.
as another woman, putting in that effort and everything, because some people don't. You know.
I know. It's well. I mean, I think I had I have the advantage of. I mean, before I know what it's like to be completely happy,
Hmm.
because I just led a charmed life before this accident. Nothing real bad had ever happened to me. I I had everything that I worked hard, but I
Hmm.
was successful, and I was engaged at the time, and I was, living my dreams. I had two dream jobs. I was just super happy. I described myself as, well, I was probably the happiest person on earth. I just, everything was perfect. And then in a split second, it all went away. But I have that memory of what life can be like,
Hmm.
and I have no intention of not getting back to that.
That's awesome. That is really fantastic. Um, has this changed your outlook or perspective on anything like science related or just I mean for yourself, I'm sure like seeing how far you can push yourself,
It's
even
been the
further.
hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else you would like people to know about this program? Or I mean, I feel like your story is huge. It's phenomenal. But is there anything else that you would tell somebody that is maybe kind of teetering, like looking at the program or
It's 100% worth it if you do what you're told. I mean,
Mhm.
what's prescribed for you. I mean, it really does take it, it takes time, and it takes a lot of effort, and
Mhm.
it's really hard, and some days you can't do all of it. I learned, uh, I learned the hard way that really do like really doing everything to a T 3 times a day, like, even that was so overwhelmingly exhausting. I kept that up for several weeks, and then I just like it was so much that I was starting to go back. So
Oh
I
wow.
talked to Dr. Trayford again. He's like, okay, so you don't have, like, all right, so scale it back a little bit. Like, only do it once a day. Like, you okay, overachiever. Like, I just want to get a good grade. um, yeah, like, come into it knowing that it's going to work if you're willing to put your time into it when you're not there, because it's so easy to not, when someone's not watching over you,
Mm-hmm.
you're just living your life. Oh, I forgot today. Like, well, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just want to eat all that stuff. I don't really have to follow the diet. Yeah, you do. You do. And that has been the hardest thing, like changing my diet and finding out, like, finally, like, we finally had to, things kind of weren't getting as better as they should. And Dr. Trafford said, okay, well, we need to do some blood tests and
Mm-hmm.
some testing, and we found out that some of the things that I was, eating because we thought that it was good for me turned out to be what was harming me the
Oh,
most.
wow. Okay.
And it was things like dairy and eggs, and
Oh.
like I was like, oh no, no. uh, but when I cut those things out, it was an immediate
Okay.
change. Like, I've only been this way for a couple months.
Okay.
Like, that changed my life, and it's been the most suckiest, hardest thing. But it's like, well,
Giving up cheese.
like, yeah, like, it's so much more than that. But it's like, well, what do you want to feel back? Like, do you want to eat that right now, or do you want your life back?
Yeah.
And it's really, because we have addictions to food, and we
Yeah,
really,
and it's not just one choice, like, okay, I'm gonna give this up. It's a daily choice or a
it's,
weekly, that it's all around.
yeah,
So consciously refusing that all
yeah,
the time, to make
yeah.
sure, to ensure that you are in the best health that you can be in. Yeah, the health is great. Sometimes I'm sure it's really hard to give those things up.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
I ate like pure rocket fuel all the time. Like, I could eat McDonald's 3 times a day and nothing. I mean, I was disgusting. I was like a raccoon just rooting through trash. It was gross. Um, but, but yeah, so like having to change, it was such a drastic change for me. I just never had to think about what I was eating ever.
mhm.
And I was just spoiled like that. And it just, because there are no consequences ever for
Mm,
whatever I ate. And like, oh,
wow.
for you. Well, yeah, poor me when I have to finally give all that up. And it's still, it's a minute by minute struggle. I just
Mhm.
cannot have things in my house that are because I will lose that battle.
Yeah, if you can get by it in the grocery store so that it's not in your home,
Yeah.
it's a big thing. Just
I
trying to
only
walk by.
yeah, I just like put the blinders on, like going through the bakery section. Like, why did they put the bakery section next to the produce? You suck for
I
that.
know.
You
I know
suck.
you have to go through the bakery.
Yeah,
Like after you go through produce, you have to, because I try
yeah,
to do like the outside of the store, but you still have to go through the bakery to like, shop the
exactly.
perimeter.
What is like, mm, uh, but I only just recently started being able to go to the grocery store. Like, that's
Wow.
only a couple months old too. Even going, I would have an immediate meltdown if I set foot in a grocery store.
The lights and the people
The lights,
overstimulation.
my visual processor is way off. It's much better now. I have one grocery store I can go to now. It's a very simple grocery store, but I have one. I can't go to any others, but
Okay.
that's where I go. I go every day just to get something, just so
Mhm.
that I just keep practicing.
That's
And
awesome.
because I mean, as of like 2 weeks ago, able to prepare food.
Oh,
That,
wow.
that was a bit like, up until a couple weeks ago, if any, God forbid, if my husband I can't take it anymore, and look, I would have had to move back in with my parents because I can't feed myself.
Wow.
So so that's like so now I'm like this is not gonna this is not gonna be. I need to take. I'm a fiercely independent and have been my whole life, and I can't. So like I can make salads now, which is huge.
That
Which
is
sounds
huge.
so ridiculous. Like
It takes a no, it takes a lot to make a salad.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to make a salad because you have to cut all these things into little
Yeah.
pieces and wash stuff. It
Yeah.
takes a lot to make a salad.
It does. Oh, and God forbid I have to heat anything up. Oh, if I have to use a stove, I'll try to make even like pasta sauce or something. Not that I can have pasta. I have to have like vegan gluten-free pasta. But I was making if I'm doing that, heating it up, and my husband walks in from work and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Leave me alone! I can't talk right now. I'm focused."
But you're doing it.
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, I'm doing it. He's like, "Okay, okay, good. I'm proud of
Well,
you."
and it's great that you know that. I mean, and that he respects that.
He's like, "Oh, I'm proud of you. Thank you." I'm like, "Shut up!"
Oh,
Like, oh yeah, no. But it'll get better. I just have to.
yeah.
It's
Well, little by little, and it sounds like you are putting every bit of effort into it that you can, which is necessary.
yeah.
And I think also that you are keeping a light heart about it. Not everybody can do that either. So we definitely appreciate your energy, and I truly appreciate you sharing your story with me. It is very inspirational for me professionally and personally, to
Thank
see.
you. I'm gonna
I'm going to keep it together. I know Dr.
I'm
Trafer
getting
told me I
misty.
might yeah, to see what people can come back from. It's amazing. So thank you.